Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching The Boys Season 1 Episode 1, The Name of the Game. This show came first on my Patreon poll for what new show I could watch, so if you want to vote in future polls, obviously you can check it out on Patreon. And this is a show that I have been intrigued by for a while, and I don't know why I didn't watch it initially, like when it first came out. I think I took against it for some reason, and I don't think it was even, I think it was just one of those weird things where you're like, oh, I'm not going to like that show. And then I never really looked into it, and I don't know why, but I have seen so many people loving this show who love the same sort of shows that I do, so I am just excited to get to grips with it. I know it is sort of a darker, grittier show, I guess. Like, it's not, you know, going to be sunshines and rainbows. It's going to be kind of adult, one of those shows that lets you know it's an adult show. But I'm really excited for it. I mean, one thing that noticed me that was when I got the episode ready and it was like, warning, this thing contains violence, rape, murder, violence. And I was like, yep, okay, I know what I'm getting into. But on that being said, I don't know too much about it. I know it is superhero-esque, as in like there are superheroes, but I also know that it is at least billed as being nothing like other superhero stuff, that it's very much its own thing. I think I've maybe seen that it's based on comics, but don't hold me to that. So yeah, this show got the most votes on my Patreon, and I am thrilled. So reactions are going to be coming out once a week every Monday. And when we hit season 2, I'm currently planning on doing season 2 at twice a week, but there is always a chance that that might change when it gets to like December, I think is when season 2 is going to start. But yeah, I'm really excited to get going. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can see the unedited version of this reactions up on my Patreon right now. And for the 2 highest tiers, I've got 4 tiers. For the 2 higher tiers, you can see the unedited version of this reaction and the next 2 episodes as well. So episode 3 is already up on my Patreon. And if you would like to go to the 3rd tier, you can see the next episode 2. It's edited reaction. It's already up on my Patreon as well. So you're 2 weeks ahead for the unedited, 1 week ahead for the edited up on my Patreon. And thanks to everyone that supported me on Patreon. If you watch us on Patreon, hello, thank you. And thank you so much for voting in the poll. You will see the next show will be out on Wednesdays, I believe, so you'll get to see what that is on Wednesday from YouTube. But yeah, this show, I don't know what to expect, because I have just seen so many people passionately loving it recently, and yet at the same time I know nothing about it. One thing I do know is that Jensen Ackles is going to be in season 3, and I definitely would like to watch season 3. But I'm pretty sure there are some other actors I know as well. So yeah, I am going to finish rambling now. It's the name of the game. Let's start The Boys. So they have superhero movies in this world. And real superheroes? Or are they movies of the real superheroes? Little boys, get out of the way, please. You are in danger. Oh, children, falling during the running is bad. I would definitely fall during the running. Oop. But that was cool. Oh dear. She got back up. So they're very much establishing here our standard superheroes. With their epic music and... Oh, I didn't hear what they called him. You gonna get superpowers or something, mate?
And he was super busy, but tomorrow for sure, yes. Okay.
It's hard when you're a bit socially awkward.
His door down?
Dude, I had to ask you out.
Well, excuse me for waiting. You ever hear
Yeah.
of chivalry?
Yeah, and feminism.
This is about you getting what you
But yeah,
deserve.
he's seeming like the kind of person
Because I think it's gonna be
that
worth
doesn't
it for both of
always
us.
put himself forward, which I can relate to. Gotta keep waiting for something bad to happen. Some of that extreme violence. And there we go. Oh my goodness. Some of that extreme violence. Did her head get cut off? Oh my god. Her whole body got disintegrated. Oh my goodness. Is that like a superhero just ran through her and killed her? And then didn't stop? Oh god, no, that's so gross. Goodness. So superheroes are not exactly the most caring and cautious in this world. I mean, she's very strong. It's like an audition to be a superhero.
You should close your eyes or else I'll blind you.
Yeah, just listen to the woman. Sounds like a standard superhero from what I've gathered so far.
I've always wanted to.
This is very hopeful. Like, I'm already getting the sense from this show that things are going to go terribly wrong if anyone seems happy and hopeful. Oh, there he is. Sort of ridiculous PR nonsense. She was stood still. Their PR spin. Are they going to get a big, like, cover-up money? Yeah.
Wants to do the right thing.
The right thing would have been to not run through a woman. Which I can't believe is a sentence I just said.
Look, I know you're upset.
Okay, dude. Come on.
You're sorry.
That admits full and they can't do that.
You people say, "Get the hell out!"
But that's what he wants to do. Did he say any of that? Because of course, like, he doesn't stand up for himself. Oh, the police scanner. She's desperate. I love this mundane, everyday superheroing.
Hungry. I got it.
Yes, no one heard that. Very secretive. He's not going to heal if you force him to just sign an NDA and shut up about it.
You can't. So sign this.
It's kind of
Huey.
a harsh truth. You're never going to win.
My dad, you don't have the fight. You never have.
Oh. That's not exactly a nice way to put it to your grieving child. And maybe he's growing the fight. Maybe this is something that is tragic and awful, but it's spurred something in him. Have faith in your child.
Are all these people here for me? Oh, honey. Who else would they be here for?
It is definitely a power trip and a power rush. So they clearly don't do too much, like, keeping secret if her mum's with her. Like, secret identities. Is she gonna realise that maybe it's not as shiny and noble as she thinks? It's a meeting of shareholders of this. This is such a fascinating concept and world. I love it.
That is our job, our honor. We are Vought.
I love this. I feel like I've said this a lot recently in shows I watch, but just the world they have here. I'm already in love with it. Even though it's dark and depressing because it's not all as glamorous and wonderful as you want it to be. She's officially joining the... Oh, so she was auditioning to join the Seven. That was the job, obviously. Oh, goodness. It would trigger you so badly. This is definitely a supervillain in the making. Panic attack.
Stand in the mirror, pretending to be where I am right now.
You've made your dreams, and I have a horrible feeling you're going to find out it's not quite all it's cracked up to be, but...
Poster of Homelander on the wall, huh?
No, actually.
Of him?
My cool girl crush on you. Oh my god.
Well, it's honest.
That's not
Okay. Yep. Not all it's cracked up to be here.
You had a crush on me. I figured that, hey, take it easy.
You go for him. I hope you die.
Yeah.
And I feel like most of these superheroes other than her are pretty awful.
And then you know what happened?
You die? I kill you? I could arrange it, I'm sure.
I'm sure you guys have all the translucent stop date. Incredible.
That seems actually quite hard to watch.
Able to vanish. No,
Lure. Is this a supervillain boss come to recruit a new young member? Because he's exactly the kind of person you'd go after to recruit.
You interested in,
At this rate, Starlight's going to join.
Because we're actually you didn't take the payoff. Yeah, I said, who the hell are you? How do you know that?
Name's Butcher.
Delightful.
Billy Butcher.
Is he really with the FBI?
You got it all wrong, Huey. That's what I can do for you.
I would not be going with this man.
Get alone, son.
FBI or not, he's scary.
Swept right under the rug.
Why?
Money, power.
Ain't it obvious? Supported by corporate lobbyists and politicians on both sides.
It's enough to make you feel sick. Because it's so realistic to the world we live in. Capitalism. Today.
You just say you were police?
Yeah, cop fed, all the same to twats like that.
So he's not really a policeman.
Holy shit.
Wow, lovely.
The jaw up off the floor. That's nasty.
Yep, that's the great remorse you feel. I should just steal that tape and blare it on the news. Does she know what he's like and what happens?
Never let them see you like this.
That's wonderful, thank you. What a great place to be.
Goddamn pervert.
Oh, wonderful. I guess I want most of the superheroes to die.
Robin got murdered. A couple of bar fights. A few cars got nicked.
No bank
But
robberies.
you know what's not? Someone's fucking hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
Get you into the signal tower through security meeting, and then you're gonna
Ooh. Oh my god. Is he gonna meet Starlight?
Like I'm fucking James Bond?
Yes.
You got it.
Perfect.
Your FBI.
Your homicide rates are up, what, 62%?
Probably by supers at this rate.
Cases. You're on the verge of willing to give you a 3-year exclusive contract.
Delightfully wonderful superheroing. God, this world is depressingly how what would actually happen realistically if we had superheroes.
I happen to know about Compound V.
Ooh.
What is Compound V?
I haven't really met him yet, but
This is horrible.
Mom,
I didn't think our dreams would be crushed so quickly.
I forgot. My daughter got into the 7. Anyway, so what did you want to tell me?
And now he's not gonna tell you. Poor
everything's great.
This is a chance meeting.
Yeah, me too.
Oh goodness, they are definitely sort of opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're coming back.
A fighter. And
There are some situations where people have these power over you and it doesn't matter about your physical strength or mental strength.
turns out I'm not who I thought I was.
You are, sweetheart. He's not who you thought he was. He's not who anyone thinks he is. But
She was never scared.
she's going to draw courage from that. They are so on opposite sides here, but also so much more in common than they think.
Because you fall on your ass doesn't mean you have to stay there.
That's true.
I'm gonna fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't beat you.
I'm gonna take that son of a bitch's head clean off his body.
Okay, wow. That
I like this. I'm here for this.
cool.
He is so not an FBI agent. I don't know why he's trusting him with this. I suppose he's got nothing to lose from it.
Hi.
He already apologized.
No, he did not.
No. Just to put a button on it.
Okay. But,
You've got this. I love you and I believe in you. Hello, Homelander. Please be semi-decent.
I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere.
She has got her eyes on you. Be afraid, you little speck of dirt. Is that really what the 7 worry about?
Hey, guys, come on.
See, she's drinking all the time. Clearly her life sucks.
Do you have a dog?
Alright, give it.
That's so ominous. Just play on yourself being awkward, and people will just think you're just awkward rather than menacing in any way.
Sir, could you empty your pockets, please?
That's so funny. He forgot to take his keys out. That would be me.
Thank you.
He's like, woo, I made it.
A-Train's apology isn't an admission of any sort of culpability whatsoever. Do you understand?
That's what he's seeing. No, you killed his girlfriend graphically and viciously in front of him.
Fine.
You've done it.
Appreciate the
He's
apology.
past the turning point. Supervillainy, here he comes. You've got this. Ooh. It's quite obvious if anyone ever looks under the table, but he planted it.
Right in the eye.
He's done with you now. You've done what he needed.
Well, you gotta go to work, don't you? You're a good lad.
But I suppose he doesn't want blood money, so I don't blame him for that. But if anything, I would take it and donate it all to victims of superhero crime fund or something, so that I wasn't personally benefiting from it in any way, shape or form. Is he about to get murdered? Oh god, yeah, he's been followed by the Invisible Man. It's the Invisible Superhero Man who wants to know what you're up to. And he's completely naked, which is just weird. Yep. Oh goodness. Superheroes are not great. This is not the sort of method you want a superhero to be using. He's back in his car. Oh my god. I don't think if he is an FBI agent, then he's not a real one, Aura. It's hard to attack an invisible man. Oop. Oh, gross. But effective. Very effective. Huey's coming. Ooh.
Translucent doesn't even mean invisible.
Oh my god, that's so funny! Maybe you could use him on your anti-hero. You know how the system works. You know he's not. But you've already seen that... I have a nice badge. Oh god, Huey. No, it's not. It's a superhero come to kill you. Oh. That poor little boy. And everyone else on the plane, because they were all innocent. They just had information. But someone gave him that information, so it's out there. So all the superheroes apart from Starlight need to die. I mean, he kind of had to be one of them too, but we could hope. Okay, so I really enjoyed that show. It was somehow exactly what I was expecting, but also nothing like what I was expecting. I knew it was like not your average superhero show in that like the superheroes weren't wonderful and great. Now, like you watch Supergirl, she's amazing. You watch Arrow and the Flash, and even if they make mistakes, you ultimately are rooting for them. Whereas I knew it kind of wasn't that kind of show, but I wasn't necessarily expecting the world in the way it was. You know, I just thought that maybe it would be a sort of Arrowverse-esque bunch of heroes running around doing stuff, but I love this whole concept of this almost corporate superheroism of where they have got this massive empire that is run by this one company that is monopolising superheroes in a way, but that they rent them out to different cities and that they make movies and they do merchandise, and like that is just, it's a genius idea, but it's also quite scary because looking at the world we live in right now, if we suddenly had loads of superheroes, that would happen. 100% capitalism would snatch that little thing and we'd all die. So yeah, that was definitely not what I was expecting, but I love it. And just kind of seeing the world in the way that people, you would at it. I mean, if that was the thing we had, you'd idolise them, corporate or not, you would think they were amazing and wonderful, especially when anything they do wrong is swept under the carpet. And it's kind of true that in human mentality, you want to accept something that's comforting, even if it's not strictly true. Even if you looked into it a bit more, you might see that there's the truth. It's different. You would accept it more. I kind of feel like with the age of the internet, more stories would get out there that the superheroes weren't all they were cracked up to be. But at the same time, would they just be presented as crackpot conspiracy theories rather than having truth? But that, honestly, the whole world of it I absolutely loved. Kind of, I don't feel like I'm explaining this very well, but the concept of there are loads of heroes that get rented out of different places, but then you've got the 7 who are the most wonderful ones in the world, and I want to kill most of them. One down. Hey, look, but one down. Maybe are we going to get a new member of the 7 because he's dead? And maybe that person won't be evil because they'll be new too, and I can have 2 of them that I like. Now, obviously, this show is very much one of those shows that's like, look, we're gritty and we're not one of those little superhero shows because we have naked people. You're going to see penises and we're going to say naughty words. Like, it's very much a show that I'm like, well done, you're for grown-ups. But other than that, I did really enjoy it. And maybe that will die down a bit now they've proven their point in this episode. I don't mind it. I just really think it's funny how hard some shows try to be like, look how gritty we are. there's a penis. I suppose I should be like impressed that it was men, not women, because, you know, most of the naked people were male, so props to you. But no, I did really, really enjoy this show, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to know more about all the different characters, and what the backstories of the other heroes, even though most of them are not heroes. I mean, they're very clearly pampered, privileged dicks. Like, A-Train doesn't actually even feel slightly bad that he killed someone. You know, even if it was he was genuinely going to a bank robbery and she genuinely stepped in front of him, a good person, or even a somewhat vaguely decent person, would have a flicker of sadness that they just murdered someone. But he thinks it's hilarious that he did it. I mean, it was very graphic. But just, I feel like the company is very complacent at this point, because someone experiencing what Huey experienced is gonna do something. I suppose they just feel like they are so powerful that even if there is one little person that has a grudge against them, and even if several of them met up, they would still be able to defeat them. But I don't know, we need to get the tape of A-Train laughing about it and saying how, like, she wasn't. You need to take that tape and play it on the news, because it would be a big story. Someone would share it, and then you could kill A-Train, or at least send him to prison for manslaughter, because he killed someone. So I really don't like him, because obviously he committed murder. And even when he was being called in to make the official apology, he was just like, yes, sorry about what happened to you, girl. Like, he didn't even have it in him to pretend for 30 seconds that he was sincerely sorry, you know, which is disgusting. It's very much the way corporations work. They're very technical with their language. They'll never admit fault. They will couch everything in us saying sorry doesn't mean that we're at fault, kind of. It's just too realistic in that sense. So I don't like him, obviously. Then Homelander at the end murdering an innocent plane full of people because they know about Compound V. I've written that down because I don't want to forget it. But I'm really excited about what Compound V is going to be, what that is. Are they taking some kind of drugs? Are they not actually naturally superpowered, and so they take the Vought serum and that's what causes it? Did Vought put something into the waters that is why there are people being made with superpowers? I can have a lot of conspiracy theories here. Now, my least favourite character is the Deep, for obvious reasons. He is the epitome of white male privilege, of just men. Ugh, men. You know? Like, I knew that Starlight was gonna get her soul crushed, in the sense that she was going to come to this dreamlike situation, and as we'd already seen that they're willing to kill people and not care about it, that she was going to come to the conclusion that it wasn't everything she dreamt of and hoped it would be. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be so quickly and so violently. Now, given that we've already had one member of the Seven murdered, which I will come to, I'm really hoping that we can get rid of the Deep at some point. I really like the actor, but no, sorry, time to die. But what I think I like most of all is the fact that she was able to get her fight back, that she's going to show him that she survived him, she's stronger than him, you know. In that moment, yes, she was feeling vulnerable already, she was feeling nervous, he was in the position of power over her and he abused that position. But she's not going to be scared of him, she's not going to let him win, she's not going to run away. It makes you wonder how many other girls he's done that to, how many other women. I'm sure it's too many to count. Supers and not. But he is despicable, and he's like a little speck of dirt stuck under your shoe. And I really hope we get to kill him soon. The rest of them are interesting, because obviously the invisible guy's now dead. I really hope he's dead and stays dead. But he was a pervert, so that was the strike against him. We don't know, so that, of the 7, that's 4 we don't like, for sure. One of them is Starlight, who I will talk about more in depth in a minute. And then the other one is this little woman, whose name I don't believe I wrote down, who... She wasn't surprised when she saw Starlight crying, which suggests that maybe she's had kind of the same treatment, but we have yet to ascertain whether she is kind of as immoral and heartless and cruel as they are, or if she's just been kind of beaten down by the system and the life. It could be either. I mean, we saw in that meeting that she was drinking, no one else was drinking, and she just had alcohol and she was just knocking it back, which implies that she's become an alcoholic to deal with everything. So that would suggest that maybe she started off with a conscience, started off being a good person, and was beaten down by the life she found herself in and the corrupt ways of the 7 and the superheroes, and it not being everything she dreamt of, and it could be a look into the future for Annie. So yeah, that leaves one more member, I think, the guy who he asked to, who was all covered up, who he said he would tell them who he'd saved that week. I am interested in getting to know more about them, but I'm interested in getting to know more about them in the same way I am in getting to know more about villains. Because they are villains, even if they are villains who have convinced the world that they are heroes. Annie is my favourite so far. She is just such a good person that she's genuine and honest in wanting to make a difference and change the world, and she's bought wholeheartedly into the concept of the superheroing and of protecting the innocent and being there for people, and it breaks my heart that she had to go through that, but it doesn't define who she is. It doesn't mean she's not strong, and I love that conversation with Huey was able to bring that out and remind her. I actually, like, did they exchange numbers or something? Are they going to be friends? Because they're going to be on polar opposite sides, but at the same time they're going to have an agreement about a lot of things as well, which is fascinating. So kind of seeing her, first of all doing her audition and kind of just being a bit being really nervous, but just really honest and open and good, and you know, saying since when is being hopeful and being naive, I love that so much. She is everything a hero should be, and I'm worried about her. I'm worried about what potentially the pressures of this new role will do to her, in the sense that everyone around her is going to be being immoral and corrupt, and she's going to have to see the face of her rapist every day until we kill him. I am on board. I will come. I will help. We're all here for this. But yeah, it just, I'm so proud of her, how strong she is. And yeah, we can see like moments like when she went to the bathroom afterwards and was like kind of recomposing herself, bury face, go back out there. But yeah, she's had a very rude awakening to the fact that this is not a team and a family, that she's on her own. And yeah, I don't know, you'd kind of think that there would be a sense of we look after each other, like we protect our own, so like the 7 wouldn't hurt the rest of them. Maybe that evolves, and you know, I could see them doing their abuses of power over other people, maybe lesser superheroes or just normal people rather than members of their own. I don't know if Homelander, clearly he's not a good person because he's willing to just murder for hire, but with that being said, would he be angry that that had happened on his team, which isn't, I don't know. So yeah, with the fact that the translucent man is dead, does that mean we're going to get another new member of the team? Are they going to be like, oh, he retired too, he wanted to go with Lamplight, they got a little holiday cottage together? You know, is that going to be what they say, and we'll get a new character who might also not be terrible? Maybe having someone like Starlight around will help other women, whose name I don't know, regain some of the goodness that she once aspired to, if she did. And again, the other guy whose name I'm sorry I didn't catch, and I don't remember his name, and he didn't do anything yet. Maybe he is better than you'd think. But yeah, the whole world is amazing. So I'm excited to see Annie's story. I'm proud of her for her strength that she's already shown. I really hate that she's already had to put through this. I'm glad they didn't show any of the incident, because too many shows try to do that, especially these gritty adult shows. Kind of wish that they'd found a different thing that could have been her driving force at the beginning of her story rather than that. Sorry. But, yeah, I feel for her, and I am hoping that's going to be the only incident of rape in the whole show, thank you very much. But I'm very much looking forward to her standing up to him continually and taking him down, hopefully soon, because yes, I want that, please. We've already killed one of the 7, let's get another one. I love mixtures of the real world and entering the Matrix, and having Jimmy Fallon and all that kind of stuff, which makes me feel like it really could be our world. Then we have Billy Butcher, I assume that's his real name, even though he clearly wasn't an FBI agent. You know, it was skeptical from the beginning, and then when the guy was like, the police, it was very clear that he just tells whatever story he needs. But he definitely seems passionately anti-super, which suggests to me that he has this history, and potentially a history similar to that of Huey. Maybe someone that he loved, or something happened. He doesn't appear to have any powers himself, so he's not like a supervillain. I know I kept saying that Huey was going on a supervillain path, but an anti-superhero path, I suppose. You know, like maybe they'll acquire powers somehow. But I wonder, does he have anyone else working with him? It does seem very much at the moment like it's a 2-man team, but I am just intrigued about his backstory and what has driven him to this point. And I feel like we'll get it. And is it tied into the rest of the superheroes? Because just because Translucent guy was like, who the hell are you? doesn't mean that he's not had run-ins with them in the past and that they just view him as an insignificant nobody. Then we have Huey, who obviously at the beginning, the minute he was happy with his girlfriend, I was like, well, something is going to happen. I was like, maybe it'll be like nice and he'll just get superpowers and have to struggle with that. But realistically, I was like, something terrible is going to happen. I wasn't expecting a speedster to run through her and have him holding her hands while she disintegrated. I really was not, that was not the bad thing I was expecting. If I'd put my money on a bad thing to happen to her, that would not have been the one. That was very graphic, very much kind of letting you know exactly that the show is not going to pull any punches when it comes to blood splatters. I thought it was bad enough when I just thought she'd been decapitated, but no. So going through something like that, you would need intensive therapy. You would need, oh, so much help. And like, even if, yes, she had been hit by a car and it was manslaughter, that still needs an apology and he's still at fault. And the concept of them covering it up is horrific. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were if as they say, they killed as many people as Butcher claimed. There will be thousands upon thousands of Hueys out there that, if they all got together, could maybe really stand up against them, and I'm kind of here for that. Maybe because in a world with superheroes, I truly do believe that superheroes can do a lot of good. And, you know, you have in our normal superhero shows talking about collateral damage, and they tend to mean it less with human life. Like, if Supergirl accidentally killed a person, it would be a series arc because she would be destroyed by it. But more like financial collateral damage, like destroying buildings and whatnot. But they do it entirely by accident, and in our shows, they tend to just be like property damage or whatever, and sometimes there's a bit of a thing of like, oh, that's too much. I know in Avengers Age of Ultron, obviously, oh no, Civil War, sorry, with Wanda, she was absolutely destroyed by the fact that she had accidentally done something that had caused death and damage. You know, that ate her up inside, but what it also did was cause an anti-super people sort of thing. We need them to be regulated, whereas in this world they cover it all up so much that no one knows about it, so there is no regulation and it's terrible. Yes. So yeah, that whole, my heart broke for Huey, and he's definitely a really relatable character. I mean, I am extraordinarily socially awkward, I am shy, until you get to know me or until you mention TV show I struggle to stand up for myself in certain situations, so I can really relate to Huey in that sense, and I'm really proud of him for wanting to fight, for not wanting to take the money, for ripping up the check. You know, I said the only other thing you could do instead of ripping up the check when it is given in that kind of, like, insincere way especially, is donate it to some sort of worthy cause, but I have a lot of respect for him, although he has now signed the NDA. But then if he doesn't cash the check, I don't know how NDAs work. But that was just a lot, and obviously that whole plan did not work because they found it, but oh, it's so much already. And like, his dad is clearly a bit frustrated with his son, you know, probably he wanted a jock and he got a geeky awkward guy, but like, get over yourself. Huey seems great. Now my concern, so far both Huey and Billy don't seem like bad people, in the sense that Billy Butcher, I don't know whether he gets called Billy or Butcher or whether that's not even his name, so I'm sorry if his name's actually something else, but he was definitely willing to use Huey. Maybe he noticed the super hanging around, or was expecting something like that. Like, I don't know whether he happened to come back or what happened, why he came back, but he's very angry against superheroes, but he's so far not seemed to just be like an evil person. So we could be in the case with this show where our heroes of the show that we support are going to be the villains, and then the heroes are going to be the villains. Like, it's all going to be swapped. My concern would be if Billy is a bit eviler, I don't know. I feel like if he was someone that was willing to do collateral damage to get the heroes, I feel like that would just be like, well, isn't this what they're fighting against? But going down a sort of dark path of vengeance would make me like Huey less, although it would be totally understandable if he were to murder A-Train. I would kind of feel like, well, you know, not only did he murder your girlfriend, he then laughed about it and didn't care. So just, this show is already so complex, and we've only had one episode, and they built the world up fantastically. They've intrigued me with this Compound V, and the idea that supers are just such a part of this world that people are I mean, the fact that she said I was born super implies that some people just get superpowers later, but they have pageants, and, you know, you train all your life to be a superhero, and you might become like, I guess before now she was registered like a little bit, she was registered as part of the Vought Industries with her little police scanner, but she was a nobody, whereas now she's one of the 7. So I'm very invested in the stories of Annie and Huey of Starlight. I hope they both get to triumph, but like I think I started saying and then I went off on a tangent somewhere, I believe that superheroes can be good, that, you know, obviously they can be good, but if we had superheroes in this world, it would be great in so many ways because they would be able to do so much good, but they do need ramming down matches. Civil War, I was so on both sides of the argument, but like you do need some kind of regulation, and definitely against collateral damage needs to be stopped. They need to be heavily punished for that. You know, you can't just have a giant corporation letting superheroes do whatever they want, abusing their power, committing crimes, doing all this horrific stuff. So if this show, I'm very curious to see if this show is going to ultimately take the arc of taking down the whole system of Vought Industries and then redoing it better, or whether the show is going to be like, superheroes have to go, no more superheroes. It's really interesting, and I'm intrigued to see the direction the plot's going to take as it moves forward. See, this was very dark, as I expected, episode, a very dark show, and yeah, I'm just scared and excited to see where it goes next. So I'm really glad this won my Patreon poll. I really enjoyed the first episode. I'm always slightly nervous when I start a new show, especially reacting, because I'm like, if I hate it, I'll let people down that voted. But I really, really enjoyed it. A reminder that if you are on YouTube, you can watch the unedited version of this reaction and the next 2 episodes up on my Patreon already. And you can also check out next week's episode in the edited form as well. So yeah, this was brilliant. Thank you so much for watching.